Hey everybody, it's me, Edward Jones, back with a new video. Gun control, LOL. Yeah, after every, um, as of lately, after every mass shooting, or well, rather it's mass shootings, and whether it's here in the U.S. or it was as we heard one in Paris, and I remember one that happened in India several years ago at that hotel. Um, but primarily when there's always a talk about we need to discuss gun control. We need to talk about controlling these guns and make sure these dangerous people don't get these guns. Oh, by the way, this is just a step off track for a bit. It is Tuesday, so I get my spaghetti on, waiting for this to cool off. Anyway, yeah, it's always been interesting. Even going far back as I remember Sandy Hook. 'Cause I remember it was funny. I actually got when I got my AR-15. I got it in September, and that was it was weeks before, it was months before what happened in the tragedy at Sandy Hook. And I remember it happened on a if I remember right, it happened on a Friday, and I just ordered some new Magpul magazines, and I remember they were on sale for $14.99, and I remember I posted a picture on Facebook saying it's gonna be a long time until I see these mags at this price, because I knew the talks about gun control were going to come up. People were going to freak out, buy a whole bunch of stuff. The price is going to get jacked up, which I guess does good for it does good for the economy. I mean, yeah, especially people who work in those factories, trying to crank out all those guns and especially ammunition. I mean, I remember hearing about ammunition manufacturers running 24/7 in some instances to try to keep up with the demand. But something that's always been interesting to me when you hear about these at the aftermath of these shootings, when there's discussion of gun control, I can't help but laugh at it. For one thing, all right, there's this, there's the, we gotta get these guns. Like, we gotta get these guns. We gotta keep these guns. Why does the American public have all these guns? These dangerous guns. First of all, usually the guns they talk about are not anyone who knows about firearms understand that the ones that people bitch and moan about aren't high powered. They're intermediate, like whether it be an AK variant or an AR-15, they're intermediate cartridges. And like I said, people who know guns know this stuff already. So you want to talk about high power, 30-06, 300 Win Mag. You know, 7.62 by 54R. Those are, those are high, people who is really is technical information that's being spouted out by people who don't know the they don't know the mechanics. They don't know the technical specs behind these tools, behind these firearms, and they constantly talk about getting we need to talk about common sense gun control. We need to have new legislation. We need to close these loopholes, and I laugh at all of it. I laugh at it. It's funny because the attempt to rid this country of these so-called tools of death, and not necessarily just not all guns, but just the ones that are complaining about the most. These quote unquote assault rifles, which I think I'm gonna do a video on that term down the road. There's some interesting history behind that term, but these evil black rifles, which it's funny. I saw a post online that said "Black Rifles Matter." I thought it was pretty cool. Remind me of that shirt I got. But these tools are already out there. They're out there in the millions, if not more than that. Let's say that the sale was stopped. There are people can make these people can make the receivers. I think the people who are who push these controls forget that these are simple tools, and they can't be manufactured by anyone else, or even new ones be made. Think about this. People who know gun history, about the Sten gun, and see how simple and easy that was to put together. Relatively easy. You had to have some mechanical background behind it, or even the Liberator pistol. And these two guns that came about in World War II, but they were so simple, so easy to make. even the M3 grease gun. That cost General Motors $45 to make a piece. So and you think about just the information that's out there, they can be made. That's one. Second, if these guns, all these firearms that are out there, you'd have, and it's been talked about on other channels. It'll be a logistical, if people, if these gun control proponents propose, buybacks, that don't work. That doesn't work because for one thing, those get rid of guns that they tend to the guns that generally turned in are either broken or they're potentially using a crime because it's usually a no questions asked kind of deal, and generally there'll be people outside of the event paying cash, which I think is far more economically viable option than trading a gun for a gift card. You know, but gun buybacks are a waste of time. And then they say, well, registration. Have to have your gun registered. Have to sign up, have your gun registered, or else you face fines or face penalties. Well, we don't have to look too far. We don't have to look too far from. We don't have to look further than what happened in Connecticut, where after where Sandy Hook took place, they had assault weapon and magazine registry. And I think they had a 5% success rate. Somewhere between 5 and 7% of the people who supposedly owned these guns registered them. So what's gonna happen? So what happens? So what did other people do who didn't have those registered? They stayed home, you know. And then you might have someone say, well, if you're not gonna return your guns, and you're not gonna register them, then we're gonna just have to come. Then we're gonna just have to come get them. First of all, they're not talking about themselves. They're relying on the police to put themselves in harm's way to collect to basically confiscate property from fellow Americans. So I think it's pretty cowardice of them to say that we're gonna take your guns from them when they're not the ones who's gonna be knocking on your door to come take them. Second, it'll be a logistical nightmare for any law enforcement agency to even undertake such a task. And third, so they also have to worry about the potential of I think the potential of blowback. Really, the big question would be is this worth getting my ass blowed off for? Because there are people out there who will shoot back. If they sense something like this would occur, but the people who propose these ideas don't care because they're not the ones out there doing it. They're not the ones that are going to be out there, going from house to house trying to collect these guns. And on top of that, just like I said, just general this country still has this air of rebelliousness, which I do love. I admire that. It may be downplayed or it may seem diminished, but I believe it's still there. You're still gonna have people who aren't gonna follow. You're gonna have a lot of people who aren't gonna follow through with it, who aren't gonna comply, who aren't gonna just bend over and take it in a sense. So anytime the topic of gun control pops up after these mass shootings, and there's always mass shootings. There's never really no one really cares about the individual lives that are lost due to beatings or stabbings, fires, decapitations, strangulations, what have you. Some fixation on these guns. Is not gonna do anything. Anytime gun control is talked about, I laugh, and I also think I always think it's weird that people who already have their guns, who already have these type of firearms, freaking out. Like, well, you already got the hard part taken care of. You already got one, I understand, you worry about other people not, other people not be people who don't have one themselves as of yet, but they'll find a way. There's always, if they can't keep drugs out of prisons, there's no way they can keep guns out of American society. They're always going to be there. They always have been there. There's no. I don't see it changing anytime soon. And if there was a change, it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be pretty. So, so like I said, I laugh at it. I laugh at the talk. I laugh at the complaining. I laugh at the futile efforts. Because another thing is public opinion is changing. A lot of people are seeing that that gun controls aren't stopping these individuals from doing what they want to do, and more people buying guns, and more people purchasing firearms. More people are seeing that self defense is something to be taken seriously. More people are seeing that the police can't protect them everywhere they are. Now it's still sad to see multiple people killed um, in those occurrences. And like I said in the previous video, I'll be it's nothing new under the sun to me. I'll be surprised when I see someone fight back, and and there has been stuff like that happening. Just that the media doesn't, mass media doesn't report it as much as they should, or at all, if that. Um, but yeah, to me, it's a joke. I think I'm always gonna see it as a joke. I don't really see it as a threat. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm dangerous, but I don't see gun control as a credible threat. At least at least from how I see things, the way things appear to me. Um, Out seeing how the public reacts to this to these kind of type of events. In fact, a lot of times when these shootings occur, um, people are buying guns like crazy. So they may buy them and not shoot them, but they have them. I guess it's up to them as to what they do with it. But please share your thoughts. Do you think Do you think gun control now is something to be really worried about? Is it something that can actually gain some traction, or do you believe that any attempt to do so will be met with will be met by a lot of pushback, a lot of resistance, or could just be straight up laughed off, as being as being comical at best? But please, like to see. I love to hear what you have to say on the matter. I also plan to do a review on the Browning High Power. I had fun shooting it. And you grab some complaints, send me a PM. I'll see what I can do to address them. But that's my video. Gun control. LOL. I'm Edward Jones, and thanks for watching.